I did an interview with Sydney Wright, who is a young. I did an interview with Sydney Wright, who's a young woman who medically transitioned as a result of feeling some gender dysphoria, which she later traced back to feelings of internalized homophobia. And we shared our experiences of therapy, and I talked about how lucky I was that I was able to access therapy that helped me first manage and then resolve my trans identity, and how she had not been able to access that kind of therapy because of conversion therapy bans that would prevent children from accessing the kind of help I got as a child. And I just found it fascinating that after posting the video, YouTube is running ads from Wikipedia with the definition of conversion therapy. And I want to note it's an inaccurate definition of conversion therapy. Like many trans activists and LGBT activists and those supporting conversion therapy bans, Wikipedia is suggesting that conversion therapy is invasive techniques that are used to change someone from being gay to being straight. And that's just not the case. These conversion therapy bans actually require therapists to affirm the identity of their clients, their gender identity, and their sexual orientation. Now, these bans are really dangerous on a lot of levels. First of all, if you have an older child who is sexually attracted to children, technically a therapist would not be able to help them with that because that would be considered a sexual orientation. And therapists are not allowed to try to change a child's sexual orientation, even if that sexual orientation is harmful or dangerous to that child. In addition, these conversion therapy bans include gender identity. So for a child like I was, my therapist would not be allowed to have helped me. They would have had to affirm my trans identity. They would have had to say, yes, indeed, you were born in the wrong body. They would have had to allow me to use the boys' restroom, to call me Timothy as I wanted to be called, and to act as though I was born in the wrong body. Now, these bans prevented Sydney Wright from accessing healthcare that would have helped her alleviate her internalized homophobia and therefore not convert to being transgender, not engage in harmful behaviors, medical interventions that harmed her healthy body permanently. So I just wanted to look at what's going on with this. Isn't this just fascinating to me? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you. So this right here is a screenshot of the interview that I did with Sydney. As you can see, the name of the video is Damaged by Being Affirmed as Transgender. And then here's the ad that YouTube is running. It says conversion therapy is a pseudoscientific practice of trying to change an individual's sexual orientation from homosexual or bisexual to heterosexual using psychological or spiritual interventions. Again, it didn't mention anything about gender orientation. And this is critical because activists are getting these bans passed by suggesting that therapists are using these incredibly invasive techniques in order to convert people from being gay. In fact, in the Wikipedia definition, it goes on to say, techniques used in conversion therapy in the United States and Western Europe have included ice pick lobotomies, chemical castration, and hormonal treatment. Aversive treatments such as applying electroshock to the hands or genitals, nausea-inducing drugs, administered simultaneously with presenting homoerotic stimuli. Can I just say, no wonder people are wanting to ban conversion therapy if that's what they think conversion therapy is. Ice pick lobotomies? Yeah, so I really need you to know the activists are using these absurd definitions of conversion therapy in order to get people to pass conversion therapy bans. But these bans hurt kids, and we really need to stop it. We need to stand up and say, no more of this, no more of this bastardization of language, of this doublespeak where you're saying conversion therapy is ice pick lobotomies and electrocuting genitalia on the one hand, but then on the other, you're saying that Conversion therapy bans require therapists to affirm the gender identity of their clients. In essence, affirming a child's idea that they're born in the wrong body, that their self-hatred is legitimate and normal and should be approved of. And that in order to deal with those feelings, rather than trying to understand what the underlying cause of that trans identity is, in Sydney's case, internalized homophobia, in my case, a sexual assault, that instead therapists have to affirm treatments, medical treatments, harmful, invasive treatments that cause these children to have lifelong side effects, that cause their healthy bodies to become dysfunctional. That's what conversion therapy bans are doing now. So when we see that Wikipedia is advertising on a video of mine that talks about the harmful effects of these conversion therapy bans, it gives us an indication of how insidious this is. These are, somehow this is infiltrated into Wikipedia, into YouTube, into Facebook, that anybody who criticizes or questions these conversion therapy bans is automatically called homophobic, transphobic, bigot. So please, I need you to stand up and stop letting people use this kind of language in order to trick people into supporting conversion therapy bans, because these bans are harmful and dangerous.